Everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Jordan Report, and I'm your host, Robert Jordan. Everyone, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Okay, guys, for the young people who may not know this, the Jews did play a very prominent role in the civil rights movement of the 60s, 50s, and 60s, back when Dr. King was holding his protests. So all that is very true. But let me tell you this. Black Lives Matter is not a civil rights movement. Black Lives Matter, by their own definition, is a Marxist violent organization. So you have to make that judgment yourself, okay? Now, another thing is this. Black people in the United States do not have the logistics, the money, or the organization, the connections to perform what Black Lives Matter as a group is doing today. We simply cannot do what you see these people doing. So a lot of this may answer that when I go through the article, then I'll show you the clip. But anyway, here we go. Black Lives Matter. This is from Times of Israel. Black Lives Matter declare groups representing majority of U.S. Jews in New York Times ad. Over 600 Jewish organizations signed letter published on anniversary of March on Washington backing current day civil rights movement. Okay? Over 600 Jewish organizations representing the majority of American Jews signed a letter in support of Black Lives Matter movement that was published in a full-page New York Times ad on Friday. I didn't know that. I quit reading the Times a long time ago. We support the black-led movement in this country that is calling for accountability and transparency from the government and law enforcement. We know that freedom and safety for any of us depends on the freedom and safety of all of us, which was published in A17 print edition. As Jews, we know how dangerous this is. When politicians target Jewish people and blame us for problems, it leads directly to violence against us. When black movements are undermined, it leads to more violence against black people, including black Jews. The 627 groups that signed the letter include the Reform, Conservative, and Reconstructionist denominational movements, which make up 35%, 18%, and 1% of American Jewry. This list also includes several Orthodox groups, such as the Uri Tzedek Social Justice Organization and YAFT, an advocacy group that seeks to improve secular education in Hasidic schools. The Black Lives Matter movement is the current day civil rights movement in this country, and it is the best chance at equity and justice. By supporting this movement, we can build a country that fulfills the promise of freedom, unity, and safety for us all, no exceptions. I fell out my chair when I first read that. The letter's signatories included ardent Zionists, mainstream organizations such as the Anti-Defamation League, Jewish Federation of North American local chapters, along with several groups that support the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, including the Jewish Voice for Peace and Anti-Zionist Shabbat. It garnered the backing of 400 organizations within the first 48 hours, according to Audrey Sassoon. We're starting to see the far right concoct conspiracy theories that Black Lives Matter was being manipulated by globalists and Marxists. They say they're Marxists. I'm going to read that again. We're starting to see that the far right concoct conspiracy theories that Black Lives Matter was being manipulated by globalists and Marxists in an anti-Semitic attempt to undermine the black-led movement, Sassoon said. This brought an opportunity to unequivocally state as a large swath of Jewish community organizations that we stand behind Black Lives Matter and that any attempt to divide that movement will not land. Okay? Now, I'm not going to read the whole article. I'm going to leave the link for you. You read it yourself. I'm just going to show you the next clip, and we're going to get out of here.
A couple of hundred protesters marching down the street here in largely Jewish Flatbush in Brooklyn, showing solidarity with George Floyd. This protest organized by former State Assemblyman Dov Hikind. We saw the demographic range span today here. Hasidic Jews marching with Orthodox Jews, with secular Jews, with non-Jews, African Americans, Hispanics, all together down the streets of Brooklyn today. The main message was, number one, whatever problems there are here in the local community between Jews and blacks, and it's been troublesome over the last year or so, needs to be put aside, and whatever rationalizations one can find, whatever problems personally with George Floyd or African Americans that one could find, justice is justice, and right is right, and wrong is wrong. That was the message of the protest here today. All the side notions, all the side cases have to be put aside in pursuit of justice.
And you're right, there's a very long history of issues between the black community and the Jewish community in Brooklyn more specifically. But I saw that there were religious leaders who actually came to that protest. Who were they? Why were they there?
Natasha, George Floyd's brother was actually supposed to meet a few days ago with the New York Police Department commissioner, together with the local Reverend Kevin McCall. Floyd's brother was too overwhelmed to go through with that meeting, but McCall was in attendance here today in this Jewish Solidarity rally. He spoke along with an influential rabbi, David Goldwasser, very influential here in the community in Brooklyn. They marched side by side. Let's hear from each of them.
A brother was killed, and I believe right now, through this and everything else happening in the world, George Floyd's blood calls out to each and every one of us, Soakim Elai.
We wanted to be able to come out today to support the Jewish community in protesting in support of George Floyd family, to let them know that their voice should be heard and will be heard.
Super powerful. So tell us a little bit about the other participants of the march who were there.
Natasha, any march is about the marchers themselves. They came here with a wide range of experiences through life, but seem to all have a unifying message here in this protest today.
If there's one thing that I've learned from the coronavirus, is that we all have a shared humanity, and we all have to speak up when we see injustice all over the country.
I feel that just as we want other groups to come out for us, it's incumbent on everyone to have each other's back, and it's incumbent to us to come out for others.
The Jewish community is coming out to show that we support what happened to Mr. Floyd. What happened to Mr. Floyd is unacceptable, and we're out here to show support. The police officer cannot touch anybody or injure people or kill people. That's unacceptable. They have to stop this.
Okay, guys, I hope that answers a lot of questions.